During my long career working, I've been in the sales industry most of the time. In fact, my fourth job back in 1987, I used to fly around the country hauling this thing, a 30-pound compact computer, to advertising agencies in New York, Chicago, LA, Detroit, Cleveland, everywhere. And that just kind of got me to thinking about how being a salesperson is similar to being a rideshare driver. I mean, let's face it, we're selling ourselves, we're selling our personalities, we're selling our driving skills, we're selling our car. And if we do it right, we can get better tips, right? So we can maximize our revenue. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 kind of rules of sales and how they apply to rideshare. And stick around, because at the end, I'm going to share with you a phrase I learned when I was selling books door to door. Hold on. Hey everybody, it is Jay Crater with the RideShare Guy. And by way of background, I've been in sales a long time. So what you're seeing right now is a list of all the jobs I've had. As a boy, I sold newspaper subscriptions. And then I sold the 1972 Olympics. I went out and got donations for the Olympics. Then I sold books door to door. Then I sold computer software and advertising on grocery store shopping carts. Did that for a long time. That was a 100% commission sales job. Then some educational programs and some insurance, mortgage, and more recently, Comcast residential and Comcast business services. And I've learned a few things about sales. So what I did is I went online and I found a pretty cool article. And the article was entitled 5 Fundamental Rules of Sales No Sales Rep Should Ever Break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one of these rules one by one and share with you how they apply to being a rideshare driver. And I think you'll find this is helpful. It certainly helped me to realize I could do some things better out there on the road. Rule number 1, it's about what the prospect needs, not about what you need, okay? Sort of like the customer's always right. So here are some things that I do to help the customer meet their needs. Arrive on time, have a clean car inside and out, create a peaceful vibe with relaxing jazz music, greet the passenger with a smile, drive efficiently and calmly, initiate a conversation, drop the passenger off at the exact point requested. And if I can complete all these tasks, then I'm meeting the customer's needs. And that's the first rule, okay? Don't worry about yourself, worry about them. Once they're out of the car, then you can take care of yourself. But when they're in the car, it's all about them. Rule number 2, listen more, interrupt never, all right? So if you followed me on this channel, you know that I kind of harp a lot about how great it is that we can learn to be good listeners in our car. That every day we go out and drive, we've got 10, 15, 20 opportunities to ask a few questions and listen. And to be that person in our passengers' lives that actually isn't thinking about the next thing to say. Instead, we're there like this open sponge to hear what our passenger has to say. And the more your passenger gets that they're being heard, the more likely they're going to like you and they're going to want to give you a tip. Okay? So rule number 2, listen more, interrupt never. Rule number 3, don't let yourself get too high or too low. So in other words, you want your energy to be, not upset, and not super giddy, just kind of in the middle, right? You want to be that calm, placid space for your passengers. So what you're seeing here is something that can definitely throw you off. And I've seen a lot of this in the last few weeks because of all the rain we've had here in California, these frickin' potholes. And then I went ahead and I made a list of other things that can definitely kind of throw you off, or at least throw me off. So potholes, number 1, flooding, rude passengers, a flat tire. I got a flat tire a week and a half ago. An accident. Not enough rides, right? Waiting for pings, always disturbing, right? You always want to just keep working, right? The police, getting pulled over and getting a ticket. Passengers that don't smell good. And passengers who eat. You might not have a problem with passengers who smell or passengers who eat. I had a guy in my car and I swear he took his shoes off, and it was the worst foul smell I've ever had. And it was a 20-minute ride. And then passengers who eat, I don't know about you, but I don't like to hear somebody going chomp, 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 chomp in the back of my car. I just don't like it. But, you got to just roll with it, right? You got to roll with it, and don't get too high and don't get too low. The thing I said I was going to share with you comes from a book called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And I read this back when I was learning how to be a door-to-door salesman in upstate New York, selling books door-to-door. And the phrase was, "This too shall pass." So sometimes when I have a challenging passenger, I'm thinking, this too shall pass, right? This too shall pass. And that just kind of gets me back to a nice place of calm, okay? So again, rule number 3 was, don't let yourself get too high or too low. Rule number 4, never compromise your integrity. So don't do anything that just feels out of integrity for you, right? This doesn't apply so much to rideshare driving, I don't think. I mean, I don't really ever feel like my integrity is challenged too much, right? So, but in life, this is a good rule, right? Stick to what you believe in, and don't do something that you don't feel comfortable doing. Rule number 5, always try to improve. So this is a great rule of sales and a great rule of rideshare driving, right? We can always become better, right? I have never had a day where I got 20 people to give me a tip, right? I've never had a day where I'm 100%. Everybody just loved my driving, and they all gave me a tip. So if that's the high point, right? That's the mountain you want to climb, and there's always room for improvement. So I'm always asking myself, what could I do better, right? How can I be a better driver? How can I, become a better listener, right? Some of the things we've talked about. So always try to improve. And that's rule number 5. So what are the key takeaways here? Well, as a rideshare driver, if you're taking it seriously and you want to make a lot of tips, you got to be a salesperson, right? You got to treat your passenger like a prospect. And you're trying to get them to take money out of their pocket and give you extra money in the way of a tip, right? Because tips we get 100% of. And the more tips we get, that can dramatically impact how much we make in a day, in a week, and over time. It can make a huge impact on your annual revenue. So I've shared with you five rules that served me well as a salesperson, and I hope you enjoyed that little trip down memory lane where I got to share with you some of my sales jobs and a few little details. So this is Jay Crater with the RideShare Guy. I want to say thank you for watching the video. Give it a like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, no problem. Don't give it a like. But if you did like it, give it a like, and that'll help more people to see it. And if you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, subscribe. We bring out great content for you almost every day to make you a better and a more profitable driver. All right? Y'all take care. Be safe out there. Bye for now.